Hello, hello. Am I live? I'm not sure if I'm actually here. Please let me know if you can see me and hear me. I just had a moment of panic where I was trying to figure out the controls on YouTube and it says you have to have streaming software. And I'm like, I don't have streaming software. So I'm hoping that what I have set up right now is actually working. I can see Chris Miller. Hello, hello, Vancouver, Washington. Oh, Annie Belay, she's fantastic, right? She's headed she doesn't live in the States anymore. She lives somewhere wonderful, like in the where is she? She's over in like Amsterdam or someplace. It always looks lovely whenever she shows pictures of where she is. And she's got a new cat named Noodles, which is a cute little Siamese. She posts pictures so you can keep track of her cat if you want to. And who else do we have here? Doreen, hello, hello, Doreen from Snohomish County. Hi, hi, Washingtonian. So, oh, you've been a fan of my books for years. Thank you. You're very nice. I honestly thought nobody was going to show up. So, like, I wrote myself some notes so that I could just talk to myself for like 10 minutes and then bail. But it's wonderful that you're all here. I really appreciate it. Annie, oh, yeah, yeah, Chris, I knew who you're talking about. And then, hi, Vicky. And who else is here? Christina A. Hello from Ohio. Hello. How are you doing, Christina? And Colorado. Hello, hello, Colorado. Oh, my goodness. I should start writing down where everybody's from, see if we get every state. Who else do we have here? Chris is telling me that Annie and Matt live in Holland. Oh, that's it. They were in Amsterdam a little while and then they moved. That's right. Ooh, Tarosavan. Am I saying your name right? Tarosavan? I may not be saying it right. I'm terrible pronouncing names. You say hello. I'm working, but I'm listening. Oh, it's good to have you here. And just pop up and okay. Also Ohio. Hi, two from Ohio. Hi, hi. And then somebody who just wrote hi.
100!
Oh, no!
100!
My sister and my brother.
100! Yeah!
You guys are amazing.
Yeah!
Okay, so I did not know this was going to happen. Like I told them, they said, well, we might be able to, join in, like watch. I thought they were going to watch, but no, these two show up. This is my sister, Deanne, and my brother, Daryl. You'll know my brother from his YouTube channel, which is Under the Oregon Moon, where he and my other brother, Darren, do paranormal and high strange kind of research and are into like, not just like Bigfoot and UFOs, but also just like, ghosts and psychic and other paranormal things and stuff like that. Really fun. I was on their channel once. I've had them on my channel once, and not to kind of spoil anything, but we have something coming up that we're going to be doing together in June that I'm super excited about. Yeah, and a little frightened about, which means it's going to be fun.
Exactly. If it's with me, it's frightening.
It's always fun.
A little fun. And this is my sister Deanne, and she is an amazing artist, and she will be putting together her first online shop where you will be able to get some of her amazing one-of-a-kind artwork that is not only, she does a variety of multimedia things. Some of it is like felt animals and creatures, and some of it is actual like artwork, like fine arts, so like oils and acrylics and that kind of thing. She's also doing another product that I don't want to spoil because I know you're going to reveal it to the world, but it is very cool. And if you are into fantasy or science fiction or any of that stuff, you are going to want to check out her shop. This is Deanne Hicks, and her shop will be under some sort of a name like that. And I'll let you know in my Monday Night Monks.
Me too. Her stuff is amazing.
Amazing. Yeah, we're all really excited because... Okay. Oh, right. Vicky says she loves the paranormal channel, so I think she might check it out. Yeah. Very nice, very nice.
Very nice.
Okay, and yeah, we've got someone from Kennewick, Cornish for Ghost or Phantom. Oh, okay, cool. Love the paranormal investigating too. Yeah, Chip Coffee?
Chip Coffee, awesome.
Is a close friend of Chris Miller's.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah,
very
he's a
cool.
Really nice guy. I like Chip Coffee a lot.
Yeah. Nice. So, what are you two doing here?
So,
we have to interview you.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
It's weird and listen, it's weird and stupid, so we're doing it.
I like it. I'm on for this. Now you know kind of how I grew up. This is the family I grew up with. You want to know why I write weird books?
Yes.
Okay, so what are you really going to interview me?
Yeah.
We really are going to interview you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna look forward because I can see you guys on the screen while you're interviewing me. So okay, I'm ready. I brought my coffee. I brought my shiny star cup that my
Nice.
other sister Diara bought for me for my birthday. I thought that would be a nice cup. So okay, what's up?
Okay, so first of all, did you have questions you were going to ask yourself?
I did have a couple
Why don't
questions.
you pass those over to
No,
us?
well, you can't read my crappy handwriting.
Yes, we can.
We can make up
We
questions.
live
We'll use that and make it up.
This is not. I think I've been hijacked. So
Okay.
This is the best. I don't know that you can read any of those, right?
Okay.
I have one question.
What's
for you.
okay? Go.
What color socks are you wearing?
No socks. I'm wearing slippers.
What color?
Gray. Just boring gray slippers. I know.
Gotta work on that.
Not even exciting socks. I do-
Okay.
Okay,
Move
here,
on.
I'll give you this. It's kind of cold. It was cold early in my office, so I do have my water bottle in this little thing where you can put your hands in it to keep yourself warm. And I often put that on my lap when I write. I have a friend who's like, just get an electric heater, put it under your desk. And I'm like, I don't want to waste the electricity, so I just use this hot water bottle, which I actually kind of love. I've gotten to really like it.
Okay, so just so you know, at any time when we're interviewing you, if somebody has a question on there, just go ahead and stop us. For the questions.
And that's the thing, really. Please chime in. Anybody who wants to know anything about most of the things, I will give you my honest opinion. But like, if you want to know about writing or about my books, or if you want to know about writing in general, like if you're interested in that kind of stuff, we can talk biz. I'm happy to do that. Or reading, if you've read something cool lately that you're really into, or travel. We all RV. These are co-owners of the RV here. These are two of the rats of the traveling rats that we go out and do adventures together. So if you're interested in any of those kinds of things, and what else do I usually talk about? Knitting and stuff, anything like that, bring it on, and we will absolutely answer. So, Dory says that if we run out of things to say, we can talk hockey. Oh, heck yes.
Why not?
That's
Okay,
good too.
Yes.
Okay, I will link to her site when she gets it up and running. Vicky also asked, absolutely. And just going back to the comments here real quick. Thank you for the congratulations, Doreen. And we do have one question. Do you have any details in the work to get more of your books on Audible? Oh yeah, I do have a little more on that. I recently re-released the Broken Magic series, which is Hellbent, Stone Cold, Backlash, and Dirty Work. Those are the Shaman Tarek books. And those are currently with my agent, and she's shopping them to audio. So hopefully those will get going out there. The Souls of the Road series are coming out through Graphic Audio, so you can get those as they come out. And Olive Ordinary and Graphic Audio, and I think Olive Ordinary are also in Audible, which is not, Graphic Audio does like the stage play where they have multiple voice actors and sound effects, and Audible does just like someone reads the book. So those are those. And then, the other series, all of them need some work. So the steampunk series, like an old radio show is what the Graphic Audio are like. And they have been a dream to work with. Really nice people, really easy to work with. So I'm always thumbs up for Graphic Audio. But the Age of Steam books, which are the steampunk books, so I have my rights back to those, which that's a complicated issue that I won't get into here, but it means I get to put those out again. And when I do so, I want to add at least one or two more books to that series. So those aren't in Audible or Graphic Audio yet, but once I put them out, I will absolutely be getting them into audio form. And the hockey books, I need to get those into audio form. I'm just slacking on that. I need to get that going. And then the House of Mortal series, I'm also in the process of getting the rights back so that I can re-release those too. And I'm hoping that'll happen this spring. And if so, we will have audio of those, because I know those also don't have audio books. So hopefully, yes, I will be getting audio coming out on most of these books. So there you go. Okay.
All right.
Okay, you're up.
All right.
Okay, go.
Okay, so as questions go, it says, is Ordinary done?
Is Ordinary finished? Right.
Yes or no?
That is a question that I've had readers ask. Don't be crazy.
No,
Crazy.
so why do you do that?
Ordinary came to a soft end with 9 books, because I kind of think of them as a trilogy, and a trilogy. So we have 9 books in that series, and that part of Ordinary, that series, it came to a completion, came to an ending. it's not the last I'm going to write in Ordinary. We know this. Like, I feel like it's super obvious. Like, so I do have a couple of short stories that I wrote in Ordinary that I just like last week. I decided how I want to go forward with them and to make sure that I get our fun characters in the short stories. So there will be more information on this, and I'm going to release that on my Patreon first, and then it'll come out all together in a book. And it will be a collection of short stories of how the gods and monsters and people ended up deciding to go to Ordinary.
Nice.
But I didn't want to write something where we're just off in some random place with a god. I wanted to be in Ordinary, right? Because it's a story about how they get to Ordinary. So their story won't be set in Ordinary. So I've got this brilliant idea that I'm going to bring all of the people from Ordinary together in either like a celebration of Ordinary's anniversary or something, maybe around a bonfire, and they're all telling each other their stories of how they got into it. See.
Mhm.
Good thinking, forehead, right?
Yes.
So then we get to have fun with all the people in Ordinary, and it'll be kind of the story of them gathering together and telling each other's stories. So that'll be coming out through Patreon probably once a week or every other week. A portion of that will come out for however long it takes, and then that book will be gathered up and go out. And after that, I will think about if we want to do another like 3-book series set in Ordinary with our favorite characters. So yeah, so
Cool.
keep your ear to the ground. I'll let you know. It's on Monday Monk and on my Patreon and eventually on my blog, which I tend to not get to as much as I get to some of the other places. But yeah, so yes, there. Good question.
Okay.
Mhm.
Your next question on here is plans for years travel.
Yeah, because that's one of the goals I'm trying to do this year is not just work all the time. Like you
Yeah.
were just doing remodeling in your basement today. I
Yes.
thought you were remodeling in your
Yes,
basement.
I was remodeling. It's done. We were quick.
You were very fast. And I thought you were working on stuff today too.
We are. This
This
right here.
Right here. We've been plotting
You
it down.
guys, I can't believe you. Okay, so travel. Yeah, I definitely want to get out more. We have something coming up that involves travel in June that I'm really looking forward to. Yeah, and then I have been taking some work travel time away, but that's not the travel I'm talking about. We're kind of wondering if we're going to go international this year, if we might take an overseas trip. We haven't decided, but yeah, I definitely want to get out a few more times this year to make sure that I'm getting away from all the remodeling or the house stuff or the work stuff and just get out and live a little bit of life, live the life a little bit. So, and you really are my main inspiration for that. Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm
You
I
just
agree.
came back from,
Romania.
and
Yeah,
you
it was
spent
awesome.
Halloween at,
Dracula's castle, Bran Castle. Yeah.
see, I mean, it's just
We
amazing.
followed the footsteps of Vlad Tempest, Vlad the Impaler, and the true story behind that. Of course, Dracula's tied into it, but it really was more about his lineage. It was cool castles and all that. Yeah, it was a lot of
and
fun.
it was gorgeous.
Yeah, it was
The
amazing.
pictures are just amazing.
It was
Yeah.
amazing. And it just made me think again, yeah, it's time to, get out and do a little traveling around. So yeah, there will be more travel coming up and hopefully I'll be able to post some photos of that and stuff too.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
going to put you on the spot here.
Oh gosh.
This is my question.
Oh no. Okay, go.
So you're talking about international travels. Where is like maybe your top 5 places you want to go internationally?
I'd love to go to Scotland and Ireland. Our family lineage on one side definitely comes from Scotland and Ireland. So definitely. I've been to England once, to London. I would love to go back. There's more to explore. New Zealand or Australia.
yeah.
I would
Oh, I'm
love
there.
to go to
That's
New
amazing.
Zealand or
The plane
Australia.
ride doesn't sound fun, but other than that, it's
Right.
amazing.
Oh, I do it.
I know.
Yeah, and honestly, and I didn't think I would, but I've been watching this YouTuber who does a lot of videos. Japan. I think I'd like to go to Japan or Thailand or something. Yeah, so those are some of the places I'd like to go. Of course, I'd love to go to Wales. Like my husband's family, part of his family's from Wales, so that would be fun to go to, and just really everywhere, almost everywhere.
Yeah.
There's a couple places
There's a
I'm not
couple
interested in.
places
Yeah.
me neither.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But yeah, Korea is fun. Oh, see, I have never been. That would
I
be so
hear they're
cool.
happy.
Yes,
people
it's
there.
never even
Yeah.
been on my
Oh,
radar.
and there's some place over by Greece or Crete or where is it? There's near. I mean, that would be fun too. Greece or
yeah,
Croatia.
Greece would be amazing.
Croatia. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Any of those places would be amazing. part of why you joined the Air Force was to get to travel,
See?
right?
Yeah.
That is the one cool thing about the military. A lot of people get to go to all these spots all over the place, which is amazing.
Yeah, I was just a chicken.
Me too. I didn't do it that way
either. Okay, do I have another question?
You do. Do
Okay.
you want to ask her one? Ask her this one right here.
Okay. England, Germany, Korea.
So
Canada.
writing nearing the end of book 4.
What am I doing with writing?
Yeah,
Yep.
what are you doing with that?
I'm working on Wayward Devils, which is book 4 in the Souls of the Road series, and I spent all of yesterday outlining how it's going to end. And this is the book in the series that's going to kind of shove Wayward Souls into the ordinary world.
That was
So
one of
we're-
the other
yeah.
questions. Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to kind of connect up in this. Definitely, like Crow shows up in this book, and Crow's a trickster god, and he's outside of ordinary, so he's doing all the trickster stuff. So it's like we're going to get to see some of our fun characters, and it's moving those two series closer together, which I'm really having fun with. So yeah, it's coming along, and I still hope to get it out late spring, early summer at the very latest. And Chris was just saying that they were in Netherlands and Bulgaria.
Ooh.
Oh, Netherlands! Yes,
Yes.
yes, and Iceland. I definitely want to go
Yes.
see.
I mean, and there's that volcano right now that's erupting.
Hey.
That's really cool. It would be cool to see, though,
Yes,
right?
it
Because
is.
it's just the lava coming out, which is amazing.
Be amazing. And then Northern Lights. I'd love to see that. I've never seen the Northern Lights. That'd be amazing. And that eclipse that's coming up. Someone said the other day on Facebook that all of the flights that take you to any of the places where where you can see the total eclipse in the United States are booked. Like you almost can't get to these places at that time.
So, one
go.
thing, I post this on one of my pages that I dumped a lot of stuff that I'm reading. One of them was on that eclipse.
Oh.
And one thing that they said is NASA wanted a lot of people to, especially that are in the main part of the eclipse, to when the eclipse goes, to report back what they hear. And if you remember when we had our eclipse,
Yes.
you
Yep.
remember how interesting it was?
Yeah.
It's hard to, how do you describe that? When
Silence.
the silence, but it was mystical almost.
It
Yes,
was.
it was.
The light was silver.
Yeah.
I've never seen. I mean, it wasn't white like moonlight, that kind of soft light. It was silver like the metal. Like the light was metallic.
Yeah.
And I've never seen a total eclipse except for
Me
then.
neither.
And
That was it.
and I didn't know how different they were than partial eclipse. I thought,
Mhm.
we'll see it go over the sun, then we'll kind of see a little ring around it or whatever. But it was brilliant. And then everything quieted. The bugs quieted. All the flowers
the
closed
silence
up.
was amazing. It
Yeah.
was like I said, it wasn't just silent. It was like it was mystical silence. It
It
was
was.
weird.
It was like
Absolutely.
everything
Yeah.
held its breath. And then
Mhm.
and it lasted for longer than I expected to.
Yeah,
I thought
me
we would get
too.
a moment and then it's done. But no,
Yeah.
it lasted for a long, long time. Although I do remember one time when I was a kid, there was an eclipse. I was little. There was an eclipse before school. And I remember I had heard about it and mom was sleeping and it was like early in the morning and I thought, I'm going to go see the eclipse. Right. So I was in my pajamas and I ran out. I don't even know if she knew. And I ran outside to go see the eclipse. Right. And I'm standing out there and it's during the school year because I had to go to school. So I think it must have been in the spring. And I saw the eclipse go over the sun and it got so dark that all the birds stopped singing and I'm standing out there in my pajamas, barefoot, and I'm staring up at the sky and I'm like, oh no, this is really big and I'm really small.
Yeah.
So I ran back inside and then the sun came back out and the birds started singing. It was fine. But I remember as a little kid, I had that moment of, oh, this is a very big, the sun's big and we're kind of tiny, you had that moment, right? What about going to Norway? I would absolutely go to
Yes.
Norway.
Vikings.
Yes,
For
Rachel,
sure.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't done any cruises. I know you've done a cruise.
I did. It was good.
I haven't done cruises. I'm not sure if I'd like to, but I do like the idea of those river cruises, maybe, or just going up the rivers.
Their Viking cruises
Yeah.
on the boat. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be cool.
I don't know.
Hey, they went clear up the river and they were in Romania too because I
Oh,
ran into the tours.
that's cool.
So this is a funny story. Go ahead.
You want me to tell that?
Yeah, you had just
Oh.
arrived at the.
Okay, so I had just arrived to Romania and we got in there a couple days just so our clocks could reset. And there were some other people that arrived early. So it was just a couple block walks into the old town of Bucharest. And so we're walking around Bucharest, and they made me leader. I don't know why, but I guess I'm good on directions. So I was just like, well, that looks old and that looks cool. And I'm just showing things around. And I know none of the history.
But you were showing it to the people who had arrived with you,
me.
which were strangers, part of the cruise.
Right. They're all following.
Yeah.
And all the Viking people have these huge signs that say Viking with a number, and they're holding it like that. Well, they're all staring at me like, what is this guy doing? And why doesn't he have a sign? And I'm not noticing that. The other people told me. And then pretty soon, when we started toward the end, they kind of had their signs down. Like, they were embarrassed to hold their signs up.
You're like, that guy's doing it really good. We'll just follow him.
I didn't know the history. We did get to do a tour where our tour guide told us, and I had only missed 2 things, which was really cool. I mean, but I didn't know the history behind any of this stuff.
Right, but you could show the sites.
I could show the sites. It looked interesting. There you go.
See, now you know what your backup job should be. When you retire, you can go be a tour guide of some place. Oh, and Rachel says they have knitting cruises. Rachel, you should not have told me that.
Really?
No, that would be amazing. See, and when I travel,
that sounds rowdy.
Oh yeah, those knitters and their needles, you know. There's a good show, Vicky's saying, called The Reluctant Traveler. Oh, I watched that, hosted by Eugene Levy. Hilarious. I love that. I think actually he was one of the people who talked about Croatia, or no, maybe that was Somebody Feed Phil.
Somebody
Feed Phil.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah. So I'm not sure if I would go to Romania. After seeing your travels, I see why one would want to go to Romania. It's beautiful.
It is gorgeous.
Yeah, and the architecture and stuff is fantastic. But I think I want to knock off some other things on the list first.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I haven't even been to like Glacier Park or any Yellowstone, or like I've got to do statewide
Well,
stuff
you know, we decided to do overseas stuff because we figure we could do the state stuff later because it is more taxing to go overseas.
Yep.
But it's the same thing. I've not been to New York or any Yellowstone. I haven't been to any of those, and yet I've been to Romania.
Romania, right?
So,
yeah. On the bingo, you got one of the rare squares.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Do we
I
have
have
any?
another question.
Okay, go.
For somebody starting out as a new writer,
Yeah.
what would be the one thing or maybe 2 things that you would consider telling them as guidance?
Okay, so read, and I remember when I first started writing, I really got serious about it when I had my first baby, and that meant that most of my time was going to baby raising, and I had just a tiny little sliver of time. Like I literally wrote between 10 o'clock and 12 o'clock at night because I knew that my baby would be asleep then, and so I could get 2 hours to write. And I pretty consistently did that every night. And I remember hearing all the advice back then was read. You need to read in the genre that you want to write. And if you don't read, you're not a real writer. And I wept because I did not have time to read. So what I'm going to say is read when you have time to read, and read the things you love. It doesn't have to be specifically in the genre that you're writing, but read so that you can take in how story is told. That's the first thing I would tell a new writer. Just get a book and enjoy it, or a short story. Right now I'm reading the Murderbot books by Martha Wells. Science fiction. You should read them. You should both read them. You would love them.
Would an audio book be the same as reading?
Audio would be fine. And back then there weren't
there
any
wasn't.
or many. And so, yes, audio is absolutely the same. And
Because
I could have done that.
That's what I'm saying. While you couldn't have done the reading, but if you had an audiobook back then, you might have been able to do that.
Absolutely. And it would have been wonderful. So yeah, so that. And then the second thing I would say, this is the hard one, finish something. And that is the hardest thing, because getting an idea, it's always fun at the beginning. You're just kind of like, I can do whatever I want. This is going to be a cool thing. And then you hit that middle point and it's difficult, because that's where you have to create. Well, there's things that you create right there. Like you have to meet all your characters. They have to all interact with each other. You have to find out what's really at stake. You have to see what's the worst thing that's going to happen. And then you have to survive that and somehow come through it to the next thing that you're going to do, which is usually the chase scenes. Like, you know, there's how the hero's journey works, or how you can plot a book. But right there in that middle, it's hard. And it just feels like it's no longer fresh, and it's no longer shiny, and it's no longer fun. And that's where most writers stop. And so if you can push through that and get to the end of it, then you have something that you can actually either revise or show to people or publish, or whatever you want to do, share, read out loud, whatever you want to do with it. But you have to get to the end of it. And that's the hardest stinking part. So finish something. That's it. That's my advice. Finish something. Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, you heart Murderbot. Me too. It's been the most fun series I've read in a long time. I'm actually, for the first time, and I probably shouldn't admit this, borrowing something from my library on digital. I have only ever gone down and gotten hard copies of stuff, but I thought, well, I love reading on my e-reader, so I'm going to figure out how to download a book from the library. Really easy. If none of you have tried it, do it. Really easy. And it can go on your phone, or it can go on your tablet, or go on your whatever you want.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep. And so, but the thing with the Murderbot series is that they're popular, and we only have like 2 copies in the library. So I've been like, I put on hold book 2. I bought book 1, but I put on hold book 2 and book 3. And I got book 3 first, and I couldn't wait, so I read it. And then I got book 2, so then I read that one. And then I'm like, okay, now I need to read them in order. So now was I smart? Did I put just book 4 on hold? No, I put book 4 and book 5 on hold. And now I got book 5, and I'm like, I put it on delay hold, where it can wait another week or 2 before you get it. You know, I'll be in line again. So now I'm watching them, and it's like inch and inch. Like book 4, I'm number 6 in line on 2 copies, and book 5, I'm number 7 in line on 3 copies. And I'm like, which one am I going to get first? So I'm waiting for book 4 to come so I can continue the series. And I will do the same stupid thing with what I think there's like 7 books in that series or something. They're short. They're very short. They're like, I think they're a novella size. That's actually, she wrote them. So they're really, you could read them in a couple of hours. They're really short, but she packs so much story into those. They are very good. And it got adapted. It's going to be an Apple streaming, or one of those.
Oh,
is
how
gonna,
cool is
yeah.
that?
I'm excited to see what they do with it, because they're funny, they're fun, they're action, and they're really heartwarming too. So good
Aw,
science fiction.
love
Good
that.
science fiction. Yeah. Oh, and Rachel asked, what do you want to do? Continuous writing when you're starting out, where you just write and whatever comes to your head. Oh, okay. Yeah, Rachel, that's basically writing like that, where you're just writing whatever comes in your head. That's called being a pantster, writing by the seat of your pants, right? You're either a plotter, where you kind of plan it all out and you follow the plot, or you're a pantster and you just write whatever comes to you. And that's absolutely fine. You'll just need to know where you're going to. What is the end? What would you like to see at the ending? And that can be a hard thing to envision. And some writers don't envision it. They just write until they feel like that's where the story ends. But, you know, generally Return with the Elixir is kind of your common ending. It's like you're writing, your people or your characters have gone through something. They've changed in some way, or the world has changed in some way, or their perspective has changed in some way, or the people around them have changed in some way. And that's where you can kind of bring it home and bring the ending in. So write. And then once you feel like you've gotten to the ending, then you'll know, you know, how long is it? Is it going to be a novel or a novella or a short story or a memoir type thing? And then you can start forming it into that shape to present to people. And that gets into editing and publishing, which is kind of a whole different side of writing. Like,
I have a question. I'm guessing you have you know your endings a lot of times, but as you're writing it, do you change the endings?
It's why I spent all day yesterday plotting the last part of Wayward 4. I'm like, I know how this is going to end. And then I got to this point and I'm like, I don't know how this is going to end. I have no idea where it's going. So I had to sit for a day and really kind of nail it down, because if I know the ending, I can write it faster. If I don't, it's very slow, because I'm doubting all of my choices and wondering, should I do this? Should I do that? And if I have it kind of plotted out, I can just follow that. And unexpected things happen, like the story goes off to the left or sideways pretty often, and I'll follow that and see if it's more interesting, because sometimes your subconscious comes up with something more interesting than what you had planned. And so, yeah. And what's funny is I never know the ending on short stories. I just write short stories. Yeah. Novels, I plan. Short stories, I pantster. I just have an idea and I go with it. So, because they're short, because like, I mean, how much time am I going to waste, you know, or go wrong? It doesn't matter. And if they don't work, that's okay. But novels, I kind of want them to work because I want to get them out in a timely manner. So, yeah.
So have you enjoyed working or submitting your books online by yourself?
Indie publishing. I love indie publishing. I really enjoyed coming out in traditional publishing through New York, through Penguin Random House, which was their rock line of books is what Ally Beckstrom and The Age of Steam and the Broken Magic and the House of Mortal books all came out through a traditional big publisher. And I love that in that it taught me so much. I was new to writing novels. I was new to writing series, and I had a great editor and a good guidance. And I learned a lot very quickly on deadlines. And that's probably the hard part is it's very quickly on deadlines in that part of the industry. And the publishing contracts aren't generally favorable toward the writer because the publisher is trying to keep all the rights and keep all the money, all the things for their corporation, of course. And so there's a negotiation there, and it got to where the negotiation wasn't worth it for me. What I had to do for what I was getting paid and for how the books were coming out wasn't working for me. And Penguin had gone through a huge merger. They had been bought by Random House. So it became this big, and so then it was sort of a different business that I was working with. And so that's when I thought, let me try indie publishing, put out my own books. And the first thing that actually indie published was I had tried to write like a radio show idea in the steampunk world where this character's point of view ends on a cliffhanger, this character's point of view ends on a cliffhanger. And it's a little short story that fits between, I think, Tim Swift and Cold Copper and the Age of Steam books. And I put that out when I was traditional publishing because I thought I had released it on blog posts across these blogs. Other people had me come in on the blog and talk about the books, and I gave them a snippet, and you were supposed to follow along and you could read the story. So I put that out first. And then the next thing that I put out was Broken Magic, which was the Shaman Tarek book. And it did okay, but I thought, well, maybe this isn't really for me. It didn't have the response I was hoping for. Of course, it's a spinoff of a series, and and it's the third book in a series. It's not a one book one. And then I did Ordinary. That's where I started self-publishing, and I've loved writing Ordinary. And like I said, I will go back to Ordinary.
Would you think that a new writer or somebody would have to go the traditional way, or do you think just forget about that right now?
In my honest opinion, depending on what genre you're writing in, you will get more bang for your buck if you go indie publishing, because you have better control of the covers and of how the book gets distributed to people, of what the pricing is, of when the books come out. And it's wonderful to have all of that. You are operating a little without a net, so you'll have to find your support people. Like, you need somebody to read the book and tell you, does it need any changes and that kind of stuff. You can absolutely find those people out there. There are so many Facebook groups that are focused on indie writers who write this genre, or indie writers who write that genre, and people who just do Kindle Unlimited, which is your book goes in there exclusive and you can't have it in Barnes and Noble if it's in Kindle Unlimited and stuff like that. So there's groups that just talk about that. So yes, indie publishing, I think, is the way to go for any new author. I've had some friends come to me and ask how should their books come out, and I have told them go indie, and they have enjoyed it. But for some people and some books and some genres, it's still worth going traditional. You just need to make sure you have either a good agent or an amazing literary lawyer to look over those contracts, because there are some rights grabs in there that are boilerplate that you want somebody to mark out, and you won't know what the publisher is taking if you don't know contracts. Right. And so you need somebody who knows contracts to get in there, and so that you don't lose your work, because you're not actually giving them your book. You're giving them the rights to publish your work in this one format. The rest of the formats belong to you. So like, they could publish your book in paperback and you could still have like hardback rights. That isn't usually what happens, but you can do that. Like, you could have audio rights, or you could have film rights, or you could have video game rights, or you could have comic book rights, or you could have, something that comes up in the next, VR, something that we haven't even thought about rights. But the publisher, of course, is thinking, I could have all those rights too. So you want to make sure that, you're either getting compensated for the rights that you are selling them, or that you keep as many of your rights as possible so that it's fair, so that you can have your own work for you, that you can put it out how you want. So yeah, traditional is tricky and it's very legal. So watch the legality.
Have you ever thought of approaching any of your books to like actual TV movies?
I have, but I don't know. I mean,
Ordinary would be perfect.
If you could Would you be good with just letting them go, or would you want say? Because weren't you worried about how you'll read a book and then you'll see a movie and you're like, what did they do?
Yeah, and the thing about movies and stuff is they're very by committee. Like you
Yeah.
really don't have the authors
Mhm.
very rarely have much of a say. And I've seen some authors have a say and do good, like
Mhm.
Princess Bride. Like the
Mhm.
guy who
Oh,
wrote Princess
yeah.
Bride
Yeah.
wrote the script for the Princess
Right.
Bride, and it's funny and it's great and it's wonderful. It's one of my favorite book
Absolutely.
adaptations,
Right.
right? And then you see authors who really don't have some say, but don't have basically the say that you get is they say we're doing this and you go okay.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
if you
You
say,
don't have a choice.
yeah, if you
Yeah.
say I don't like that, they're like, yeah, but that's what we're doing, right?
Right.
And so no, so I don't know. Like I feel like if my stuff went to TV or something like that, I just don't think I would get any say in it. And so at that point, I would just kind of
So I'm thinking though that I think that maybe you would definitely, at least now, streaming would definitely be more of the place where your Netflix, your Amazons, or somebody like that. And I also have found, to me, it seems like that series do better than trying to put a movie out.
Yeah.
I agree.
They can take their time, develop the characters.
I
and
agree.
then,
yeah. And I think with Netflix, I think they're one of the places that started that before a show could come out. They had to not just pitch, like it used to be you had a pilot and you would show them, here's a pilot of my show, and then we'll do the rest of it and it'll be cool and just like that. And the networks would be like, yeah, we'll buy that. Now I understand you have to submit the entire arc of the first season. So you're like, we're going
Wow.
to do this story and this story and that story and that story, and it ends up over here. This is the story that we're going to tell this season. And so they have to have like the episodes kind of mapped out, which I think is great for streaming because
Oh, yeah.
I think we're getting better stories
I think
out
you
of
are
that,
too.
right?
I agree.
Because
Yeah.
and you can tell, like when I think about episodic fiction, like even like Supernatural or something like
Yeah.
that, or any of the Twin Peaks or any of the stories.
Mhm.
I'm not sure they knew what they were going to do
No.
from one episode
No.
to the next.
Twin Peaks, I can't imagine. They
Right?
did.
No, they're just kind of
I
making
like
it up
the
on
show,
the
but
fly.
I just think he just threw stuff down.
Yeah,
I guess.
right,
Yeah,
right.
but
it wasn't like planned, and so now I think there's a certain amount of planning that happens. So, which would be nice for like a
Mhm.
book adaptation, but I don't know. I don't know if it'll happen, but yeah, I would be open for that. Come on,
No,
that'd be
that's
cool.
yeah, that would
That would
be
be
cool. I think
awesome.
it'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I have another question.
Okay.
What is the hardest toy you've ever knit?
Oh,
That's a good question. I can tell you which one it was for me. None. 'Cause I can't-
none of the toys.
Do not knit.
Honestly, the hardest toy I ever knit was the Lake Quinault. I knitted so we go up to Lake Quinault, which recently you have got up to Lake
Oh my
Quinault
gosh, if you get a chance, it's beautiful up there.
up in Washington, up in the rainforest, Olympic rainforest.
Yeah.
Just bring extra gas, I hear.
Oh man.
I have not sweat that hard.
Oh my god, it was hilarious.
And I know it was fine. It would have been fine. We could have walked, but I don't like running out of gas. Oh my gosh. But yeah, take extra gas. No, you don't have to. Just don't do what we did. Don't drive to the beach expecting gas to be there because there wasn't. Don't drive on a low tank. But there's a writer's retreat that happens every year called Rainforest Writers Retreat, put on by the spectacular Patrick Swinson. And writers come from all over the country and Canada and stuff and get together and write. And I think why it works so well is the internet is spotty, so you can't just goof around online. It's far away, like it's 4 hours from my house. I mean, some people live closer to it, especially Washingtonians, but it's a bit of a drive or a bit of a flight. It's remote, it
Yes.
feels very remote, very quiet.
Mhm.
And there's a stinking whiteboard that he puts up, and everybody has to write down their word count that they've made every day. So you're watching people's word count go up on this whiteboard, and I'm always like, I don't want to put 0 on the whiteboard, right? I got to put something on the whiteboard. So it really is helps encourage me to go. But anyways, for that, at the end of that event, they give away kind of whoever gets the highest word count gets first pick of all this stuff spread out on the table, and it's books brought by authors and special editions, and it can be funny stuff, knit things, craft things, whatever the authors bring. Somewhere around here, I have a Star Wars, the original, no, not Star Wars, Star Trek, sorry, the original series mouse but it works on like an Atari computer or something. But dude, that was up there on the table, and I went for that.
Oh, my
So
Lord.
I've got to figure out how to actually plug that thing in, because come
That's
on,
great. Yeah.
it's still the
amazing.
original packaging
That's
and everything.
crazy.
So one of the
Vintage
writers,
package.
yeah, vintage. So anyways, there's fun stuff, and so I always knit a toy for there, and I knit an octopus because there's a cryptid, a made up cryptid. Everybody knows this isn't real because it was a high school class that decided we're going to make up a cryptid for the forest and see if anybody notices we made up a
That's
rainforest
awesome.
cryptid.
That's awesome.
And it's called the tree squid. And it's that it's so wet up in the rainforest that they just crawl up out of the ocean and get up in the trees. And if you don't watch out, they're going to drop on you, So I thought that was so good. Or tree octopus. I can't remember, tree squid or tree octopus. That I knit an octopus.
Oh my god.
And I knitted a beanie, and it has posable 8 tentacles. And I knitted a laptop. And I knitted a pencil and a coffee cup because it's a writing octopus. And that was the hardest toy I ever knit because it was tiny,
That's
and
amazing.
8 stupid legs. Too many legs. So that was the hardest toy. Sorry, that was a very long
But
kind of.
that's
Yeah,
funny.
yeah,
That's
it.
awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, when canning, what do you find the hardest thing to can?
Oh, when I'm canning stuff.
What do you love to have canned, but it's always just so time consuming.
Well, I don't like to use a pressure cooker. It frightens me. So I don't do that. So I've whittled down my canning to only things I like to can. So, but the thing that I'm doing more recently, I've only done it for 2 years, is the grape jelly.
Oh
I
my
love
God.
making that.
I love that show.
Oh.
By the way, when you showed the steps of making the grape jelly, that was amazing. And also that grape jelly's
The
It's
box
amazing.
So
serious.
good.
so good.
And it's just because we have this really old grapevine. It's probably 70 years old, that's been continuous in the yard. And so I think it's just an old heritage grape, Concord
Mhm.
grape. And so it just makes great grape jelly. And there has not been one time I've made that grape jelly that I haven't spilled an entire jar of it while making it. So that's a
Always
tradition
give
now.
away.
That's a
That's a
tradition. Yes, we
tradition,
have to
huh?
stain the counters and the walls with the grape jelly. So. Oh, somebody says here, do you have any meet and greets in the future? Not sure you ever do those. I haven't done a meet and greet forever. Like,
I remember it was like when you were releasing some of your first books.
Yeah.
You were
yeah.
in the bookstore.
Yeah, I've done some signings, and over in West Salem done some signings. We haven't done that in just years. I usually do it with my writer friend in the area, Diana Farrell Francis. She's usually over there too when we do West Salem signings. And I used to do the Powell's big book fair that they did the signing and stuff like that. Then, COVID happened and everything kind of got closed down for how much interaction people were doing in small spaces. And I haven't even been back to conventions since then. And I know a lot of people are going back to conventions, like Oricon is a local convention. But what you're specifically asking is a meet and greet, which would be like, we would find a spot like a Starbucks or Powell's is awesome. Love Pals and love Peter up there used to do all the coordinating for that event. And he was so supportive of science fiction and fantasy authors in the area. He was a champion. Anyway, a meet and greet would be like finding a place where people could come and we could just sit and do this in real life. Basically. I don't see why I couldn't. Like I haven't. I wasn't sure that anybody wants to hang out and sit, but we could take knitting or something and we could like knit at the same time, have coffee. It'd have to have coffee. That's
coffee
all.
cozies.
Coffee cozies. Yeah,
Coffee
we could do that.
cozies.
Yeah.
Coffee cozies.
So Chris, I would be willing to do something like that somewhere. I don't, it'd be interesting to see where people would want to go because I was reading something that Alona Andrews. I don't know if do any of you read Alona Andrews, and if you don't, you should. They're a fantastic team, husband and wife team. She and he both do before any conventions they go to, they try to do like a meet and greet where they just get together in like a Starbucks or out in the lobby somewhere where everybody can just sit and chat with them, and you don't have to go to a panel or any of that stuff. You can just sit and hang out. So even in an outdoor location, that would work. Yeah. Then I'll win to visit my sister in Lake Oswego. Oh yeah, go up toward Pals, right? And then you could tell your sister coming in. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what Powell's policy is anymore. I used to mostly be over at most of the sci-fi fantasy authors end up over, unless you're Neil Gaiman or somebody like that, then you end up at the main pals. But the rest of us end up over at the Beaverton Hillsborough pals, which is wonderful. And I don't know, I would have to contact them because last I heard there was like corporate did something about how they book people in, something changed. So I'd have to look that up. But that Powell's in a mall and that mall has a food court. So I mean, that's always an idea too. Then we can shop Powell's, which would be fun.
Yes.
So yeah, that's something that I might need to start doing again. I wasn't sure if anybody would be interested, but maybe I could rope my friend Diana into
There
it.
you go.
Right? I have a writer in the local area, writes in the similar genre, has great books. Diana Farrell Francis, if you aren't reading her, you should be reading her. Give her a try. And yeah, that would be fun. Mm-hmm.
So I know at conventions you used to sit on panels and stuff. Is that something you're looking at doing anytime in the future?
Yeah, I like actually doing panels. I don't know if they'd have me back. I think they would. Basically, you volunteer for panels, and they're usually looking for people to, to
have the time,
sit up there and talk about that subject. And yeah, I would do it again. I always liked being on panels, and I often liked being the moderator because I could tell that, this change in fiction where it's going more towards romantasy. What do you think about that? And then I just hand it over to somebody else to think about it and come up with a good answer. So yeah, maybe conventions. I'm not scheduled to go to Oricon this year. I might show up just to do what we call the BarCon, which is go up there to hang out in the lobby and the eating area just to chat with people. So maybe I could do a meet and greet there. That's not part of the official,
Would
convention.
you post it on your YouTube channel so people could attend?
Yeah,
Perfect.
and you wouldn't have to buy a membership to come into their lobby to go to their restaurant to just hang out and talk with me.
Oh,
like
nice.
that. So it wouldn't be a membership thing. And that's in Portland, Oricon is. And that's in October or November, somewhere around there. I'll if I decide to do that, if people are interested in that, let me know and I will I'll see if I can set something up.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Sharon Lane, Stephen Miller on do a public breakfast when they go to conventions. Yeah. See, that makes sense. Lounge Lizard Con. There you go. That is not a bar con. I like that. That's good, Vicki. I'll wear little lizard hats. Maybe I'll knit one.
Oh.
So yeah, maybe that. So does anybody have any other questions? I don't want to take too much of your time. We're rolling up on 46 minutes or so. I thought 10 minutes or a half hour of me just staring in here, but then you two show up and all of you. Thank you so much. So if you have any questions, now the time to ask, or any comments or anything, Nothing.
So I have a question. So since you're not doing your knit toys right now, obviously you're busy and all that stuff, but you have been doing, you did like the grape jelly one or, video or the RV upgrades that we've been blessed to do.
Yes. Continually seem to be doing. Yes.
Do you like doing those two? Do you have, you like putting those on there?
I actually really do.
I think they're really cool.
I love them.
I think they're fun too. And it just comes down to editing them. And there's one that I want to do we replaced a wall in the RV, one of the support walls that holds up the bunk.
Yeah.
You remember that? I think we all remember that, right?
Yes,
Yeah. And I have video and pictures of that. And I would like to show, because when we went looking for if anybody else had to repair that wall, nothing. I could find nothing on.
We did it, and we took pictures.
We did it, and we did a good job. It still works. So I want to put that together for sure for the RV mod, because I think if anybody out there is doing any RV stuff, it's good to see just what somebody else has done. The YouTube university, basically, of learning how to do stuff by watching videos, right? And canning and stuff like that. I'm going to be I keep talking about this, but I'm going to be simplifying. We're going to be simplifying our front flower beds, and so I'm going to do a before and after, kind of show the process of what we do, and I think that might be fun to see.
You also were going to do something where you're going to go to a different kind of, like, maybe getting away from grass and trying different sections. You should film how the new the process goes. This is going good. This isn't.
Rewilding.
That'd be interesting too.
We want to put low mow and more bee friendly greenery instead of grass in our yard. What's funny is it's like they tell you should have, like, it's not vetch, but it's a little fuzzy ferny stuff. I can't remember what it's called. And that's one that you should have in there, yarrow or low yarrow or something. And then you should have
Clover.
clover in it and
Clover,
stuff.
yeah.
And so I was, we've been really bad about weed and feeding our yard. And so I go out and I look at it. It's like, oh, well, we already got clover in it because like it's just been creeping in, and we got that little veggie stuff in there too because like all the weeds are like crawling in. I'm like, maybe I'll just let it go to weeds, and that's a natural kind of
Yeah.
weeding. But yeah, I do want to actually do that too. You're absolutely right. Let's see. What do we got here? Eileen says hi. Hi, Eileen. I love watching. Did you know I would have guests? Did you know I'd have guests on my show? I didn't know. Do I know Danielle Garrett, another Pacific Northwest author? I do not, Chris. Should I meet Danielle? I mean, I will absolutely look her up. I don't know. I'm assuming her. Look her up and see what she writes, and maybe I'll end up running into her somewhere. That would be awesome. Oh, and Rachel says she loves Danielle. She's here locally in Silverton. Oh, very cool. Okay.
That's really close.
I love Silverton.
cool.
It's a quick drive
That's
too.
beautiful.
Helena, thank you so much. She said she loves my books. Thank you. I love writing.
You know, that was also a nice venue. I was out there during the Christmas time. Is the Oregon Gardens out there? That might be cool a venue for a meet and greet.
For a meet and greet.
Yeah, I've
At
never
the
been to
Oregon
Oregon.
Oh,
Another
it's-
place I haven't
Sorry,
been.
it's awesome. Even during the holidays, but during the other time of year I've been there too. It's beautiful there. That'd be a kind of a neat area.
Yeah, and I like Silverton. It's a fun place, and that's not far from here.
Mhm.
And let's see what else we said. Love your book. Thank you, Helena. And I'm going to say this. I've had some down days in the life of a writer. Everybody has down days, and it almost always, whenever I'm going through a rough patch where I'm like, I'm not even sure if this is going to work with writing, if I'm doing the right thing, if I'm delivering something that's fun and enjoyable, and then some reader will just come into my email or something and say, hey, I love that, or that character was really fun, and I'll just sit there and kind of tear up a little bit, wipe my eyes, and be like, okay, shoulders back, let's get this going, keep writing, because it really makes a difference when people reach out. So if you have a favorite writer, like I need to tell Martha Wells that I am just loving the heck out of her Murderbot books right now, just reach out and let them know. It makes a huge difference, and I want to thank you, any of you who have ever even just picked up one of my books. I really, really, really appreciate it. I really do. Okay, back to what's over here. Right on in Sounds, right? Oh, Right on the Sound in Edmonds, Washington. It's a great place to hang out with aspiring writers. Happens every October.
Oh,
I have not been to it. I will
That's
have to
cool.
look that up. Yeah. Didn't know. For shame, Oregon is the best. Oregon Garden. Oh, hi from Brooks. Oh, hi, Darcy. How are you, Darcy Jennings? Nice to see you here from Brooks. That's not far away.
Mhm.
Oh, gorgeous out there.
It is pretty out there.
You can
Good
grow
farm.
anything in Brooks.
Yes,
Yeah.
you can.
That soil is like
Alive.
black gold. It's gorgeous
Yeah.
out there. Yeah. Good to see you, Darcy. Okay, so we are rolling into the end. I don't know how to close this out. See, I should have plotted an ending before I started this story. I should have had an ending. But one of the things that I do want to say is I want to say that I really appreciate all of you. If you have ever once tried out a Monday Month video, I am absolutely open to suggestions. If you want me to talk about something else other than writing, knitting, and what's going on in my life, I am absolutely open for new ideas of what to talk about. I appreciate you spending time with me. If you check in every week or whenever you do check in, if I think like often I've said, I'm not sure if I should keep doing Monday Monk, and you have said you need to keep doing Monday Monk because I have fun watching it. Yeah.
It's our
Yeah, we
Monday,
watch it.
it's our Monday evening right after we get home from work.
You guys are ridiculous.
And I watch it in the morning.
It's not like we don't live in the same city. Like we see each other, but
No,
but
it's
it's
awesome.
wonderful. Thank you so much. So yes, thank you so much. Faith Hunter. Oh, now Faith Hunter, I haven't met in person, but we shared an anthology together, and that was really fun. Dirty Deeds 1 and Dirty Deeds 2, which are no longer available because they were a limited anthology. So I got to know her through email because we were all kind of working on the anthology together, and she was great fun. She does kayaking, but like down rapids and stuff, like the kind of sportsy, not like getting a canoe and paddle off to
That's
nowhere.
my
She does
thing.
like sportsy kayaking. Yeah. But anyway, so I want to thank you all for coming by today. If there's any last questions, get it in now, because I think this is it. I'm going to close it up. I will remind you that my brother has a channel. It's called Under the Oregon Moon, and he does paranormal, supernatural investigations. It's absolutely worth
Awesome to watch.
checking in on it. He
Absolutely.
and my brother have always been interested in this kind of stuff. So they have years of experience and it's fun. And I always tune in to see your stuff. And I wish you
appreciate
guys
that.
Me
would
too.
do it more, but I know you've got tight
Yeah,
schedules.
we are on show 9 and you're on 100, so we
Yeah.
got a little ways to
Yeah,
go.
but I
back
do
there.
like these tiny little
Yeah.
15-minute shows. You do like it's a good solid hour
Oh,
of
yeah.
new
It was
information.
almost 2 hours that last show because
Yeah.
of so much of Romania and everything going on.
Right, which is fantastic. So if you haven't checked, I'll put a link down below the live. I think I
I
can
really
edit it
appreciate that.
afterwards. I can put a link down. And then my sister Deanne Hicks will be having an art shop opening up soon online. You'll be able to look at her amazing fantasy and science fiction and magical stuff that she will be creating. And so I will put a link to her shop as soon as that is up and running too. Just keep an eye out for it. And that's it, my good people. Thank you so much.
Yay, 100!
Thank you. This wouldn't happen without you or you too.
Yay!
And we'll see you next
See you
time. Bye,